Eala loves the grass, and the grass loves her. I'm sure she's very relieved to be on this surface.
Picture this. It is 8:50 p.m. in Manila. A nation of tennis fans who learned this sport on cracked public courts is standing in front of their televisions, and on the other side of the world, a 21-year-old left-hander walks onto Wimbledon grass with a number stitched beside her name for the first time in her life. Seed number 29. The first Filipina ever seeded at a Grand Slam, and the surface under her feet, short, slick, unforgiving to topspin grinders, is the exact surface her game was quietly built to attack. What the next 90 minutes reveal about Alex Eala will tell us whether the last 23 days were a preview or a peak. If you have been following Alex Eala since before she had a seed beside her name, hit subscribe and stay with us through every match of this draw. Rewind 23 days. June 7th, 2026, Eala lifts a trophy in Birmingham. Her first WTA title on grass, won 5-7, 6-3, 7-5 over Czech rising star Nikola Bartunkova. 13 days later, she is in Berlin, a WTA 500, dismantling Diana Yastremska 6-1, 6-2 on the way to the semifinals. On Sunday, she walks into Wimbledon Media Day and says calmly,
I've played one of them before. My preparations are built around myself, so I'm focusing more on my game.
I'm playing well, I'm feeling confident, I've been putting in the work, but it's a Grand Slam. Everyone is dangerous. I'm ready. That word, ready, is what brings us to today. Because the draw gods read scripts too. Of all the players Wimbledon could have placed across the net from Eala in round one, they chose Renata Zarazua of Mexico, world number 75, 28 years old, and the only player in this entire bracket who already owns a winning head-to-head against Alex Eala. One match, one win, hers. Zarazua did not stumble into the main draw either. She earned her ticket through qualifying by beating former U.S. Open champion Sloane Stephens 6-2, 6-0, a bagel set against a Grand Slam winner. Then she outlasted Hailey Baptiste 3-6, 6-3, 6-4. This is not the soft round one the seeding charts suggested. This is a live ball Mexican veteran on a heater, with a psychological deed already filed against the Filipina across the net. And the doubters, the same voices who spent 3 years insisting a Clay Academy product could never translate her game to grass, have circled this match on the calendar. Here is the problem with that doubt. It is being demolished in real time. Start with Birmingham. Eala did not just win a grass title, she won it the hard way, dropping the first set of the final to Bartunkova and clawing back through a deciding 7-5. First grass title of her career, the moment the can't play on grass narrative officially flatlined. Then look at Berlin, 1 week later, a WTA 500, 2 tiers above Birmingham. Yastremska, a top 50 pro, beaten 6-1 and 6-2. Varvara Gracheva in the quarterfinal dispatched. A semifinal appearance on grass at a 500-level event in her first full Berlin appearance. The competition tier doubled. The result barely changed. Now compress the timeline. June 7th, Birmingham champion. June 20th, Berlin semi-finalist. June 27th, Wimbledon's official Instagram posts her as their daily focus, getting ready for her first Grand Slam as a seeded player. June 28th, Media Day. June 30th, she walks onto a Wimbledon court ranked 30th in the world, seeded 29th on the surface where her game finally makes sense to everyone else the way it has always made sense to the people who watched her closest. Because here is the technical truth the casual viewer has missed. Eala is left-handed. She hits flat. She takes the ball on the rise. She redirects pace instead of generating her own from the baseline. She stands 5'9" with the leg drive to play low. Translate that scouting report onto grass, and you are describing the exact biomechanical template that produced Petra Kvitova's 2 Wimbledon titles and Angelique Kerber's 2018 crown. Lefty slice into the ad-court returner. Flat ball skidding through the low bounce. Early contact stealing time from baseliners who need a full swing. This is not a player adapting to grass. This is a player meeting the surface her game was always going to belong on. Those of us who watched her push Maya Joint to a third-set tiebreak in the 2025 Eastbourne Final, saving and then losing 4 championship points in a 7-6 thriller, we already knew. We saw the template a year ago. The rest of the tennis world is finally catching up to what the Philippine fan base has been screaming into the void since she was 16. And when the New York Times publishes its elite players to watch list for Wimbledon and Alex Eala's name is on it next to the usual top 10 heavyweights, that is not Filipino media being generous. That is international tennis press rooms admitting the math. There is one more voice to introduce. He owns 22 Grand Slam titles. 2 of them are Wimbledon trophies, both lifted as the most successful left-hander in the history of men's tennis. He is also the owner of the academy in Mallorca where Eala has trained since she was 13, the brother of her supervising coach Tony Nadal. Earlier this year, according to Yahoo Sports, Rafael Nadal reportedly did not hesitate to begin personally advising Alexandra Eala. Read that again. The most decorated lefty in the sport, the man who solved more surface transitions than any player who ever lived, chose to spend his own hours on her court. He did not do that for the player she was. He did that for the player he saw she was becoming. That is the cosign, not a press release endorsement. A Mallorca afternoon between 2 left-handers, with the older one quietly handing the younger one the keys to a game he spent 2 decades perfecting. Now widen the lens. Tennis has never had a top 30 Filipina. The Philippines has never produced a Grand Slam singles seed in either draw. Southeast Asia, as a region, has watched the WTA pour resources into China and Japan for 15 years without a single organically developed top 30 women's star emerging from anywhere south of the South China Sea. Today, that 20-year drought ends on court number whatever they assign her at the All England Club. Win today and round 2 lands within 48 hours, with analysts already calling her quarter of the draw a blockbuster section. Madison Keys lurking, a seed projected by round 3. Win that, and the Wimbledon middle weekend belongs partially to a woman from Quezon City. And every match she plays on this grass now feeds her seeding math for the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic cycle, where Philippine tennis has never produced a credible medal contender. The next 3 weeks already have markers: Wimbledon round 1 today, the City Open in Washington later this summer, the North American hardcourt swing into Cincinnati, and the U.S. Open after that. Each one is a referendum on whether the player we watched lift Birmingham was the ceiling or the floor. There is one crack worth naming: June 20th in Berlin. Linda Noskova beat Eala 6-2, 6-4 in the semifinal, and mid-match, clip aggregators on YouTube flagged what they called a scary elbow moment. Eala reportedly grimacing, shaking out her arm. No official medical timeout, no public statement from her camp. She simply finished the match, lost it, and got on a plane. 10 days later, on a Wimbledon Media Day stage, here is what she chose to share publicly, a line she wrote on her own 2026 vision board months ago and posted to Instagram. You will no longer spend the entire match trying to avoid losing, and instead you will feel free to compete fully. Trust yourself. That is not a player nursing an injury into a slam. That is a player who already decided who she is going to be when the points get tight tonight. So here is where we stand. A Birmingham trophy, a Berlin semifinal, a New York Times shortlist, a Nadal Academy cosign from the greatest lefty in tennis history, a seed beside her name for the first time in Philippine history, and a left-handed, flat-driving, ball-on-the-rise game that reads like a Wimbledon engineering schematic. The doubters had 3 years. They had every chance to be right. Birmingham closed the case, whatever happens at 8:50 p.m. Manila time tonight against Renata Zarazua. The larger story is already settled. Alex Eala's game belongs on grass. The only question left is how far this fortnight carries her. So here is the challenge. Drop your prediction in the comments and put a number on it. Round 2 exit, 4th round, quarterfinal, or are you bold enough to say the words Wimbledon upset of the tournament out loud before the first ball is struck? Stake your claim now, because in 2 weeks, the screenshot of your comment is either going to be your receipt or your regret. If you have been following Alex Eala since before she had a seed beside her name, hit subscribe and stay with us through every match of this draw. We are covering round 1 reaction within hours, the round 2 preview the moment the bracket clears, and every twist this fortnight throws at her. The people who recognized her game first deserve to be the first to know what happens next.